Hey everyone, my name is Keisha and welcome to the Blurred Library. I hope you had a great week, great weekend. I did. I'm gonna show you guys later. But let's go over last week's reads and what I'm gonna be reading this week. Alright, so and this is why I'm back on Storygraph, because I cannot trust my mind right now. I already had a bad memory, but I just can't trust myself right now to remember anything past what I did 2-3 days prior. So I am back on Storygraph. I'm putting everything in there. I'm not necessarily putting my reviews there, but I'm definitely like, okay, this is what I was reading all year long. So I can't remember. But yeah, that might change with the reviews, who knows, but that's where it is right now. So last week I finished one book and a couple of comics. With the book, it is The Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. I talked about this briefly on TikTok, but just to repeat myself, I'm indifferent towards it. And that might be changing to just like being disappointed overall. With An Academy for Liars, you have this black woman who has gone through a lot in her life. And she is coming off of the end of a breakup because her fiance has cheated on her. And she gets accepted to this school, supernatural abilities that's cloaked from the entire world. And like I said, it's comfortable, right? Because you find out like she's super talented. And even though she doesn't know exactly what she's doing, she's fucking amazing at it. And it has that messiness of higher education politics, which I enjoyed very much. But my biggest issue was with the unreliable narrator, the main character. You know right off the bat that she is an unreliable narrator, and so that means that it's the job of the author to either get you invested in the lie that she's telling herself, the lie that she's telling us, or like some side characters, just something. There's the investment is supposed to be somewhere in the big lie, and I did not get that investment at all. There were so many things that could have been done that I wish the author would have done, like spoke more about like the racial politics, because you have this university that is being cloaked by the power of this black guy, and you could tell like there were instances where you could tell like this black character was not treated fairly or right, and they're still using his body and his powers even though he has no ability to protect himself. There was nothing really said or done to that, and this is at a predominantly white institution. So it was like it tipped into some things, but not enough to get me invested or care about. Like I said, the only really good thing that I enjoyed was the messiness of the politics, and even still that skewed a little bit, because then you have like adult teachers taking advantage of teenagers, underage kids, and I was like, all right. It started out great, and then it just like fizzled out for me, unfortunately. So if you enjoy it, okay. To get over that book, because I did start the year pretty frustrated with books. I DNF'd Shigeti, and man, that if y'all ever want me to go into that, I can, but I had to DNF it like 60% in. Just could not continue. So I was like, let me read comics. For the Pink Riot Comic Show, if you do not watch, we go live on YouTube every Thursday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we read this one, Son of Staros, Family Matters. This one was cool. It had a lot of commentary about people of color, black people, who, look towards empire for love, protection, what have you. And then they disregard their family or their community, people who look like them, and, their fights for rights. So I enjoyed this one. It made me want to read Dr. Afra. This one is sapphic. It focuses on family, whether you're looking towards the empire for it, whether you're in your family and the family dynamics that you have there. I enjoyed this one overall. I have read a couple of issues, but I don't like talking about issues here on this channel until I have a full story arc. If you want to see like issues, like I said, we do that at Pink Riot Comic Show, so check that out. This week I have 2 books and 1 comic. So for the book, I am 75% into the Ebony Gate. This is one of those books where I went in not really knowing what to expect, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then like a couple of chapters in, I was like, oh, wait, what's the blurb of this? Like, what's going on here? But I'm enjoying this. This is a really interesting magic system. It's set in San Francisco. The most enjoyable part of this that has not been explained much, or like she hasn't made a decision on it, is like the city avatar or the city guardian thing, right? It's reminding me of the comic City Boy, and slightly like the City We Became, where you have this main character. Oh lord, I'm terrible with names, hold on. Okay, so you have this main character, Amiko, who was the Blade at some point, and initially the book gave me John Wick vibes, you know, because like you're not in the thick of it. Like, this is after she's already like said, I'm done with being the Blade, I want to live my life somewhere else. She ends up in San Francisco, and you know, so I was like, oh, this is giving John Wick Blades, like John Wick vibes. She's having to go back in to everything and fix something, like and she's just like a badass. But it actually steers from that in quite a way. But like with the city avatar thing, everyone's asking her throughout the book, like, are you gonna be the Sentinel? Because she is talentless, right? Everyone in the world that she came from, they all have a talent, and some people, like, their skin hardens with like dragon scales, they have elemental magic, like, or they can like portals, tunneling and whatnot. And she is talentless, but she is just a badass with a sword. But she has this new talent now, and it has a gold aura to it, and it's coming from the city of San Francisco, and the city has chosen her, likes her, wants her to take this position of the Sentinel, but she hasn't really decided whether or not she's gonna do it. And so I'm really interested to see, like, you can see she's going to eventually become the Sentinel, but she hasn't made that decision yet. So I'm like, I'm very interested in that, because I like things where the city speaks to the person, right? So I'm excited about that. I'm loving like this badass woman, like seemingly talentless and doesn't have all of the skill sets that, or the talents that everyone else has, but is holding her own through nearly every single battle. So I'm enjoying this fun ride. Like I said, this I'm like 75% in. So I'm about to go into, later on this week, I'm going to be reading what is it called? The Life of Herod the Great by Zora Neale Hurston. I've been eyeing this book since last year. I haven't read all of Zora's catalog, but I'm slowly getting through everything. And even though I didn't read Moses, which is the prequel to this, I'm still gonna read this because my Libby hole that came in. Like, as soon as it came in, it was like, let's borrow it now. And I was like, cool. So I'm reading it out of order. I don't care. I expect this to be great because I love all of Zora Neale Hurston's works. And come on. I just feel like my mind is gonna be blown this week. And all of the bad work and books that I've been reading since the year started is gonna be healed with this week. And then finally we have, I've been saying I was gonna read this for like a month now, but okay, so I'm slightly, I don't want to call it lazy, but there are times where I just don't feel like opening a physical book. Or, you know, I'm in bed and the lighting in my room, in my bedroom, is fairly dark, and I like reading comics in the morning or late at night. And so ebooks are great because, you know, they're lit up and it's electronic. So I was like, dang, I want to read this, but I'm gonna have to get a library hold for this. I know, because then you're like, well, Keisha, why do you have the physical book? Excellent question. But I'm gonna be reading it this week. And I'm expecting great things. This is about an indigenous girl who time travels and learns about her history and whatnot. So this is the omnibus. It's 4 separate books. You have the Pemmican Wars, the Red River Resistance, the Northwest Resistance, and the Road Allowance era, where, you know, it's all happening in the 1800s. So I'm excited to read this one because, you know, actually almost the 2 indigenous comics that I have read are based in time travel. And every indigenous superhero that I know of has something dealing with going through generations of, you know, lineages and whatnot. So, like, I'm interested very much in that and why that is something consistent throughout indigenous literature. So, yeah. I'm excited to read this finally. I only have these 3 because I want to be mindful of how life is actually like 1-2 punch hitting me. In terms of what I will be reading like in the very near future, I watched Wicked twice this weekend. Cried the first time. Second time, no, I watched it 3 times. The first time I cried through it. The second time I was building the organizer that's downstairs and I'm going to show you guys. And then the third time I just watched it for shits and giggles. Watching the musical made me think of Broadway and the fact that there are not a lot of black actresses who are taking like these lead roles. Like the fact that people had a whole issue with the fact that Elle Woods was performed by a black woman like within the last 2 years or so, or the fact that Glinda was black on Broadway for a little bit. Like, I was interested in that, and someone who loves musicals. I have this book, hold on, it's an ebook, so obviously that means that I'm gonna get the Libby because I really only do comic books on ebook these days. But it's making me want to read When Broadway Was Black, right? And I'm interested in seeing like which musical that they're talking about. And this was written by Casey and Gaines, so yeah, the movie just inspired me to read another book. But yeah, that's what I've been watching, and let me show you the what I built this past weekend while watching Wicked. Let me turn the light on. Will that even make it? Does not make a difference. Okay, but I built this pink cubby over the weekend. Now, as you can see, like, this is not right. Like, there are some issues with this that you can see right here, but that's because I cut this top too short. But I was still like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. But I'm gonna replace the top in the next week or so. But yeah, I built this weekend and painted it pink while watching Wicked. Interestingly enough, I did not choose the color. Hubby did. So I wanted to paint it black, and he was like, yeah, no, we have too much black. Like, you can see everything on the walls is black. So he was like, no, we need more pops of color. And I was like, cool, let's do that. It's dark. So yeah, that's it. And I brought my what is this play? I brought my record player downstairs, and now, like, that's been up there on the wall for years. Yeah. But now most of my records are here. If you guys ever want to see that, hey Gannicus. Yeah, that's fine. If you guys ever want to see that, then let me know. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, I'm trying to get back into the habit of filming. But next video is going to be, I have like 3 notebooks to make. I will be showing you guys my girls, the Cluck sisters. They are all laying eggs now. So I have quite a bit of eggs. And then we have to figure out what to like, I gotta figure out more stuff to cook. So I guess I will see you guys in the next video. Later.